So on this plum rootstock, I have prune, pluot, which is a cross between an apricot and a plum, apricot, nectarine, and Asian plum. I think I have 3 or 4 varieties of Asian plum. I have Satsuma, I have a Santa Rosa over here, that's a Loroda, I have a Sierra plum over there. I can't remember what all I have on this tree. So it bears over a period of about 4 months, which is really, it's really a treat to come out here and see a new plum every couple weeks. This is a peach rootstock, and I'm going to graft an apricot onto it. A peach can take apricot, nectarine, a lot of different types of fruit. And I'm going to do what's called a cleft graft because I don't have anything that's the same size as this branch, but I could put a smaller branch on. I kept my scions in the refrigerator, so I can tell that these are still dormant. The buds haven't opened the way they've opened on here. It's okay if the rootstock has started to branch out, but the scion, which is what you're going to put on it, has to continue to be dormant. Most important thing is to have a sharp tool. Because your tools are so sharp, I recommend you wear gloves. I didn't wear gloves the last time I grafted. These are actually butcher's gloves. They're made of Kevlar and you can't slice through them. So cleft graft is good for putting on a piece that's not quite the same diameter. If this was the same diameter, I could do what was called a whip and tongue. I'm going to give this a fresh cut because this was pruned a couple weeks ago and I want fresh tissue there. I'm going to slice this in such a way that it has a very, very narrow edge. I don't know if you can see how that edge, it comes to a point like this, and a wider edge. I'm going to whittle that down until it comes to a sharp point at the bottom. So there's the sharp side, which is going to be on the inside, and here's the outside, and just along the edge here is the living tissue. This green tissue right here is the living tissue, and that's what has to match up with the green tissue right on the edge here. So I'll show you how I do it. I'm going to split this open. This is where most people cut themselves because they put their thumb underneath. So I'm going to put my thumb on the outside and just rock back and forth. I'm going to make it about as deep as this is long. So that looks about right. And then I'm just going to set it in there with the skinny side inside. And I want to make sure that this surface right here is flush, that the wedge I've put in this crack lies flush with the rest of the branch. I also want to make sure that I've pushed it down far enough that I don't see any of the inside sticking up on my scion. The next thing I want to do is wrap it. There's enough pressure to hold the scion in place. Most of all, I don't want it to dry out. This is some paraffin tape. It's called buddy tape, B-U-D-D-Y. It sticks to itself, it stretches beautifully, and it breaks down in sunlight. So after a while, when this graft has matured, this tape will just disintegrate. It's very important that I cover the open wound on the top of this lower branch. So I'm going around it again and again. The other thing I want to do is prevent the scion from drying out. Until it makes a connection with the rest of the tree, it's just living on its own moisture. So I use press and seal, which you can buy at the grocery store. I just cover my scion. It sticks to itself again, but I need to shade it. This is a great use for an old sock. And there's my graft. In about 3 weeks, I'll take the sock off, look inside, and if the buds are starting to swell and it looks like the graft is taken, I will take the stretch and seal off, but leave the sock on for another couple of days. Then I'll take everything off and watch it grow. If it doesn't grow at all, I'll know that my graft failed, but that's not a problem. I can just cut this off and try it again next year. The last thing I want to do is put a tag on it so that I know what is on this branch. This tree already has 4 different varieties on it. Here's a graft I did a couple weeks ago. The buds are just starting to swell, so I think this graft took. I'll take the sock off now. I use old Venetian blinds to make labels. They're aluminum, they'll last forever. They come with a hole. Tie it on with something that's not going to rust. And make a big loop, because within 5 years, I don't know, maybe 6 years, this will be the diameter of the branch.